Hey, Donna.
Hi.
Super.
Sorry I was late. You're kind of throwing me for a loop with this Claude thing,
All good.
as you know. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm assuming it will translate across multiple platforms.
Cool. All right. Ross, I saw you in there too, bud. Okay. These next two are gonna take us into the co-work function of Claude. And you're going to see, I'm gonna show you like my stuff. Um, it's a little harder to come up with demo unrealistic use cases here, so it's just easier to show you. All right, so chat is for everyday back and forth conversations. Think of it as just your pet assistant who's ready in there for anything. Projects are when you want to build very serious guardrails and context and responsibility still within the chat. Cowork is when you take those guardrails, those very clear directions and instructions, and you give Claude access to your tools and to folders on your computer. A lot of people freak out at this point. I can't give this access to my computer. That's totally true. And there's a slide we need to jump to. You do need to question before you connect to anything. And if you're in a larger workplace and you have access to enterprise versions of Claude or even enterprise versions of other tools, you are more likely to be in a realm, in a world where it's okay to connect to things. That being said, you should talk to your development teams, your IT teams. You should talk to whoever's leading your AI initiative at your company or whatever consultant might be working with your company to help you through this to verify before you just willy-nilly connect to anything. And when I say that Cowork is that you give Cowork access to a specific folder on your computer, like really listen to that. I'm not giving Claude access to my entire computer. No, I make a new folder on my desktop. And when I go into, we are now moving over to the Cowork portion. When I am in Cowork and I say, let's make a new task, I am allowing Claude to access a specific folder on my computer. I personally try to keep a clean desktop. And so I have a folder on my desktop called Cowork. And inside of that Cowork folder are a whole bunch of other folders that have information, data, files in it. And I give Claude access to that one specific folder. So let's look at this for real. When you give Claude access to a folder and there is information in there, Claude can then use that information and work with that information. And I think the strongest point here is it can process information and operations over and over and over again. So last week, I sponsored a golf tournament. I sponsored a hole. I had a lot of fun. And these are all the names of the people that I got contact information for at the hole that I was having a great time. Look at all this handwriting, right? It's 62 different people's handwriting. So I knew like I collected that information for a reason, not just to give one of them a prize, but to then be able to follow up with all of them, to be able to learn about them. And they're obviously, as we know, there's people I would have met in that scenario that I know like aren't potential customers of mine. But then there were others that I was like, absolutely, I want to talk to that person. So I took those pieces of paper and I scanned them in. I could have taken photos, but because I knew the handwriting was there, I wanted to have really high res images. And so I took those images and I put them in a folder and I had, see, I gave a Claude a folder, but I forgot to put the PDF in there. He said, "Oh, the folder's empty. Please upload the PDF." So I did. Its jobs were to very carefully read everybody's handwriting, triple check, double check, and create a spreadsheet that has everybody on there. And what we created was this. Claude reviewed every PDF, all 6 pages of the PDFs, line by line, to produce the number, their name, the person's name, company name, email that they wrote down. I came through and noticed that I knew that this guy right here, Britt, I knew that his name wasn't Britt. I knew it was Bill. And if you look at the PDF, there he is. It's Bill, but because there's a circle around the guy above him, it looks like two T's. So this was perfect for me to say, hey, now I need you to go and like really look because I found some spelling errors that you missed. And here's the context of why I think you found that error because of the circle making the L's look like T's. It then did a new pass. Look, we we found Bill. It even wrote notes at one point. I think it was in the chat thread that was like, oh, yeah, good catch. I'll go look at all of the circles on that sheet to verify that I didn't screw any other ones up. So then it did verified name, verified title, verified company. And I asked it to give itself a confidence score of being able to accurately translate that handwritten words into text. Like how well did it think it did? Then once that was done, I went back and I was like, all right, now I need you to go take those company names and go line by line and research the approximate number of employees there, their general industry, their specific industry, their company URL, and their LinkedIn URL. This was probably a 15-minute job for it to come through here and grab all these. This whole project for me lasted probably like 30 minutes. And I went from 6 pages of handwritten copy of people that were writing on a golf course to actionable actionable data and content that was going to allow me to pursue my goal and my objective of what I was trying to do here. We all know that if any of us were to have taken this task upon ourselves, it would not have gotten done. And if it did, it would have taken hours. We would have put it off. We would have put it long enough off to where something else took its priority. And then me sponsoring that whole became a pointless use of time and resources because I didn't follow up and accomplish the goals and the whole purpose of being there in the first place. Beautiful example of using AI to do things for you. Now, the hardest part, which is why you all have to have your creativity hats on, is coming up with the use cases here and finding ways to use this tool. Because I bet that not everybody's going to be sponsoring a golf tournament today and have this exact use case. Probably never. So you have to think about what are the ways that I can use this tool. Now, so this connected to a folder and the PDF that I had. So I gave it access to that folder. The other way that I use Cowork here is to string together other tools that I have that aren't necessarily in a folder. If you look here at our context and our connectors, I have this connected to my Microsoft 365. This is a read-only connection, and I have it connected to my HubSpot with a read and write ability. And all I did this morning said, can you look at my calendar from last week and tell me everyone I met with? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Can you look to see which of these people are not in my HubSpot? The connection to HubSpot failed because I haven't used this tool in a couple of weeks. It said, hey, please go reconnect it. I reconnected it. Done. Of the 21 people I met with last week, 16 are in HubSpot, 5 are not, and here they are. Want me to create contacts in HubSpots for these? Yes, please, including Danny. These are now in HubSpot. Please go back to the week before and show me only those that I met with and are not in HubSpot. We're not going to like watch this because it can take a couple minutes sometimes, but this is just how it goes. I can come back here whenever I want and come back to this thread, which I actually would just say pin it. So now this activity here, and then we're going to rename it meetings to new CRM contacts. Anytime I want to go look at my last week of meetings and have it add those to my HubSpot, I just have to come back to this pinned conversation here and run this. Or I could turn this into a schedule. I could have this just run every Friday at 8 a.m. or every Monday at 8 a.m. And now you're starting to get into the world of these autonomous workers where every Monday I'm just going to come and it would pop up with notification after it was completed. There would be a notification on my computer that says, Claude is waiting for your input. Here we go. See, this is it. That took 5 more people. Yes, add these. Yes, add all 6. Wait, no, let's do add all except for me, this Dotson. I don't, she should probably be in there, but for the sake of this, I now have a triggered runner, a supervised coworker, and to an extent, if I just told it always add all, and then had it run every Monday, I now have an autonomous operator. I now have the furthest, most right side of an autonomous agent. So, any questions, thoughts here,
As
Gary?
always, more to process than my brain can do in an hour.
Yeah. Hey, Linda.
Hi, how are you? This is fabulous. I guess I was wondering, just based on your sheer amount of experience with these four levels, obviously level three, once you're giving it access to doing things like writing into your CRM and things like that, which I know from previous exercises that I want to do, right? But not being familiar with what it does well and what it fails with and what you have to double check and triple check and write differently and all that I'm going to say this wrong, at the project level before you turn it into this autonomous agent, would you recommend really firm familiarity with its misses and wins before, would you recommend building that sort of stepwise familiarity before you upgrade?
For sure. And I don't use autonomously running agents. We are probably not people that need to strive for that. If you wear a lot of hats, this is why I don't have autonomous running agents, because I wear a lot of hats. I have a lot of stuff to do every day. My context is shifting left, right, the other. I know that having something running truly by itself is going to fall off my radar, and it's going to just start doing and doing and doing. And I'm not going to remember to like deal with the positive or negative repercussions of something running and running and running. This also could just be a personal preference. I only operate on trigger based agents
Okay.
so that I can just keep control of everything going on in my world, all 100 things a day. If I need something to get done, I will go and trigger it. And guess what? Yeah, it then go and does its own work. And when it's done, I have the product. So in the theme of your question, like I would say for me, autonomous agents they're higher than triggered agents. That's a step. So
Okay.
yeah, like don't
Yeah.
feel the need to like magically automate everything in your life. Like
Yeah.
I know most about the stuff here today, and like I wouldn't say it necessarily terrifies me from what it could do negatively. It just my organizational brain. I kind of need to know when things are happening and the steps of all the pieces in my life are moving through. I am very comfortable having an assistant like bundle up a whole bunch of tasks that I now don't have to do, but me knowing that it's happening, it helps me operate.
Hey,
I like
Justin,
that.
one thing that might be a little bit in between it sounds autonomous. This is Peter, is where you can go ahead and co-work and schedule stuff, which is, I do that a lot. I get all my fireflies and then I've got my skills that spreads it to the different projects and then it gives me notes. And that sort of sounds autonomous, but it's not doing it. It's sending information to me. It's super safe. And that's one of
Yeah,
the dynamics is you can make things that are super safe autonomous and you can make stuff that's risky more hands-on. I have a quick question. I think we're done at the top of the hour, right?
correct.
Okay. Are you working with any I love what you got. This is awesome because it helps people understand how to put AI to work for you. The next level would be you've got code that I thought you were going to kind of address a little bit, is working with larger data sets, ERP data, CRM data. Any kind of clue for the audience about how you get your arms around that and make sure it's protected for everybody, that
It,
they don't have all
yeah,
their data flying all over the
yeah,
place.
totally. This topic, this world is obviously larger than a 60-minute conversation. And the theme of these sessions are for personal development and personal use and growth. That question of how to operationalize large scale data, that is not a topic for this audience and this conversation. That
Fair
being
enough.
said, if somebody does want to do that, you need to be talking with the people in your company that are putting these tools in place and are leading the charge of your AI initiatives. You can work with large sets of sensitive data with AI if you do it the right way. And even then, it's not a one word answer of how you do that.
Yeah, I'm in the business. So that's we should talk afterwards. That's
Totally.
I don't want to do that. What you're doing, that's so custom. It's awesome stuff. We're on the other side, and that's sort of why I was asking if you've already got that program in place. So don't mean to hog the
No, you're
limelight,
good. Good.
but
It's a
that's kind of
good,
the next level.
yeah, for sure. Next level. Yeah. Kevin.
Just sorry.
Yeah. Kevin, do you have your hand up?
I did. I just was just gonna say, but what he was just saying, answering it just was just going to where I was going in terms of like automating like simple things. Like one of the people on my CBA committee, what he does is he automates sending out articles that he's interested in. You know, he sets that up an automated thing, like a low risk thing. You know, it's not going out to clients, but it's an automated process that runs for him every day, and he gets a customized list of articles that might interest him. You know, it gets dumped in
Yeah.
his email every morning. It's a great thing for him. Yeah, personally, I'm currently trying to figure out. I've got a new laptop at home, and you know, I'm gonna put Cowork on it for my personal use, but I won't use it with my law practice currently.
Nice. Let me share one thing. I'll come right back to you, Linda. This is the process that we use for AI strategy adoption in businesses. You're going to get a copy of this. I encourage you all, if you're curious about how to go on this path for your business, this is literally what we do. It's our game plan of how we get businesses ready to go down this path. And then secondly, our next session will be at the end of July. Topic TBD right now. You'll get an email. You'll get an email with that registration link. I want to get those in. Let's hit Linda's question, and then Mike wanted to say something, and any other questions, and I'm happy to stick on for some time. So Linda,
Yeah.
what's your question?
So it's just how much of what you just showed in that third strip, if any, is currently available through Chat GPT?
They released their like version of what that stuff kind of can do like a month or two ago, and I haven't played with it. So I hear it's pretty comparable, and parts of it are a little easier. But I haven't gotten into it yet personally.
Oh, thank you. I loathe to give up all the learning that I've developed. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate
Ju-
that.
Justin, if I may, that's all through Codex. They
Yeah.
basically on ChatGPT, because I try to use both as well just to know, and it's not quite as intuitive, I think, because you have a separate one. But what Claude did versus ChatGPT is Claude said, okay, Claude Code is scaring people that don't necessarily need to be a coder to use this with their interface. So instead, they created Cowork, which is basically just like a chat version of the coding. So it still does all the coding on the back end. You're just not seeing it. So Codex started on ChatGPT started as the code part of it. And instead of creating a separate thing like Cowork, like Claude did, they kind of embedded it all in Codex. So it's easier to use than it once was. And there's a desktop version now. And probably based off this training, you could still play around with it in a similar way and test it with scheduling and integrating tools and things like that. It's pretty adjacent is the point. It's not too scary.
Thank you. That's fabulous.
Hey. You got anything?
Justin, did you see the text? Were you referring to me when you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for doing this, by the way. Just a quick primer. I'm involved in data center development and energy project development all over the country. In order to enable the compute that these tools are bringing to our lives, it's a real challenge, and people are afraid of AI. So part of the reason I really like what Justin's doing is he's making it accessible, and he's helping people understand where the real value is in their lives. We're in the midst of a full-blown panic of national relevance as it comes to data centers. And the one ubiquitous truth about how panics subside is when the technology becomes so transparent and invisible and valuable to people's daily lives, and that the threats recede, and their appreciation for the opportunity and the upside rather than looking for threats becomes the way they view how to interact with the tool. So also as part of that, I'll be inviting Justin to speak sometime soon at a new organization in Chicago that's part of a global network called AI Salon. And anyone who's here is interested in it, feel free to reach out to Justin or me directly, or click on the link that I just put in the chat. But I've been playing with tools a little bit maybe less long than Justin has, but what he's done is just eclipsed my understanding entirely. And I think you guys are really privileged to be part of what he's doing. And thank you, Justin.
Thank you. You're welcome. Daisy, got your hand up.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Justin. Um, so you just answered the question of how does this presentation and training translate to ChatGPT? I have the same question about Copilot.
Good. I will find the answer because I need to have that answer. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Copilot.
I'm just, I'm in the same situation as Linda. Like I want to commit to
Yeah.
one and not use like three of them.
Yeah, totally. On that though, there's AI everywhere. Like you pick your foundational tool, which is your ChatGPT, your Copilot, your Claude. Guess what? You still have AI in like every other tool that you're using. And my point there is do not be under the impression that you're going to have one tool to rule them all. Like you already have a dozen tools. So you should focus on one foundational tool, but just know that that's potentially unlikely for anybody in the world to have one tool. But onto your actual question about Copilot. Copilot, they were one of the early ones to use the word agents somewhat appropriately. In Claude, you have projects, and in ChatGPT, you have projects, and in Claude, you have agents. So everything that we covered about projects and ChatGPT today, it's just called agents in Copilot. The Cowork, where you can actually give it access to files, that's a little bit more unclear to me. That I need to get the answer. So Stacey, I'll figure it out, and next time we see each other, we can have a conversation.
Can I just do a real cautionary tale? Because I'm watching this stuff. This is what's happening is we're getting addicted to these specific models. We're building all this infrastructure. That's the nature of the business model we're in. So you really do have to have somebody like Justin guide you through and structure this because you're kind of gonna live with it for a long time. It's hard. They're gonna make it harder and harder to move any of the models. I don't even know if you really can move the models from one to another. I have a client that wants to move from Chat to Claude for the same reason. That's actually a project that we might be able to talk about, Justin. But this is an addictive model. This is kind of the dark side of AI. Is they're getting you, and so you have to be really thoughtful about the infrastructure you're building, and make sure that you've got some way of managing that risk. It's kind of like you're on an Apple phone, you get addicted to it. This is the same model that AI is following. So that's what's coming. You got to really think about what the platform is that you're going to get dependent on.
Yeah. Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just as much as you use this, I'm picturing your desktop full of folders. And then when you reach into the folder and you can only pull out like certain documents to show Cloud so that they can analyze that. I was just trying to get a grasp on how you manage that.
Yeah. I don't use Cowork that much. Like giving it access to folders and letting it like really manipulate files and do stuff. It's like maybe once every 7 to 10 days that I have a project or a task that I recognize is a good fit for Cowork. So everybody's unique. So like some people might use it more than I need to use it. Some people might need to use it less, but my point there is like just I don't even use that much. And so to answer your question, my folder structure is not that crazy and complicated because I don't use that part that often. I spend 98% of my time inside of the project folder structure, like where I made that project in the beginning and like gave it the clear instructions. Like I hang out in projects all day, every day, because I can switch context. I can go from worrying about my HOA and like plowing through making meeting minute notes for my HOA to my annual report for the HOA, giving it all the data it needs from there, to then I can go into public speaking prep for this session today, like just popping in between the folders inside of Claude, not giving it access to my desktop.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you, Justin.
Thanks,
You're
Justin.
welcome.
Have a great day.